sat here for a good 30 seconds trying to figure out why my camera wasn't recording, and then like realized I hadn't actually powered the camera on, so I don't know how that bodes for this film, for this recording. Okay, hello everyone, welcome back to my channel, Jamie Fran Colors. Today we're not coloring in a coloring book. I'm actually going to show you how I use napkins in my journal, my art journal. I showed you kind of like a napkin unboxing type thing on Monday, just showing you how I order my napkins, and I wanted to show you how I use napkins. This will probably be short, probably won't be that exciting, but that's okay. And then on Monday I will be using napkin in my encaustic for my melting Monday, so you'll see how that might look differently because I use napkins for both. That's one reason I order them and like them, is that I use them in encaustics and I use them in my art journal. So we will do that today. I'm working in, this is my new one, but I'm working in a 8.5 by 11 Strathmore watercolor hardbound art journal, and I will link it in the description box down below if it's something you want, but you can definitely do this in any size book that you have, or any kind of book that you have. I do like working on watercolor paper because I do tend to use like a lot of liquids. So watercolor paper just holds up better with that and doesn't wrinkle as much. So I do like working on watercolor paper, but you could do it without. You just might get more wrinkling on your paper. All right. So we need to pick a napkin. Let's see. So this is a brand new one. I've only done one page in here. This is the page I've done, and this is a napkin. The birds and the flowers in the background is a napkin, so it's exciting. I don't know, I like starting my first page in an art journal saying something about like new beginnings or something. So this one says, "The adventure begins, collector of memories, believe in daydreams, create art." So I like that. Alright, so it's very thick paper, and it kind of gets thicker as we work on it too, so that is nice. Alright, I gotta pick a napkin here. I used that one on the Melting Monday. Ooh, this one's really pretty. How am I gonna decide, you guys? Ooh, this one's really pretty too. Okay, maybe we can use both. Maybe, let's see. What do we like? So they're both purple. Let's see, this one is like, okay, very pretty. And then this one, okay. So I'm thinking that, okay, I think I know what I'm gonna do. All right, so all right, here we go. So I want to kind of like line this up, see what size I kind of want for my picture here. And then for my page, then I take a water brush. It just has water in it. And I run water along where I want the napkin to rip. Like, just helps the napkin rip where I want it to. Okay. And then it just pulls right apart, right around, right where I put the water. Okay. Really nice, okay. And then, because I don't really want a napkin in that seam because it will cause problems. I always like to break that. You can put like tape in there if you want, but having a napkin that goes across the whole thing, it can be problematic because it's opening and closing and bending and you might get rippage. So I just kind of rip the napkin up and then just put it in the seam rather than over the seam. Like butt them up together, but leave that little seam. Okay, so we've kind of got that, which I like. And then I like this being down kind of in the corner. So maybe we'll just rub this right along the seams, the folds of the napkin, and just take the one quadrant of it. Comes apart so beautifully. Okay, then I can decide if I want to like add the rest of my napkin in or anything else. And I might not. I might leave it and then maybe like put a quote or something up here. Maybe like draw on this side and then put a quote. I'm probably not going to draw today. My kiddo's not feeling so good, so I'm hoping he's going to sleep, but if he doesn't, then I will need to be available to take care of him. Okay. What if we take, put it this way. Maybe like that. That's kind of nice. I like that. Yeah, I like that. Okay. So now to attach this napkin, first we want to separate the napkin. So napkins are usually 2 to 3 ply, and you just want the top layer of the napkin. So if it doesn't pull apart easily, this one pulled apart pretty good. You can like dampen your fingers and like dampen and then put on both sides and pull it apart, and it'll come apart because the napkin will stick to your wet finger. This one came apart really good. And I try to keep some of these because it works great in encaustics for me to like put my little signature on and then melt that into the encaustics. So, or if I want to put a quote in encaustics, I can stamp on this and then the napkin will like disappear in the wax and all you see is whatever I drew or whatever I wrote or whatever I stamped. So I do like to keep the insides of the napkins for that purpose. Yeah, okay. So we'll have that one. And then, let's see. Okay, see this one isn't coming off as good. So if I just dampen my fingers, you can use water or good old spit, either works. And then if you pull them, see they'll like stick to your finger and you can get it started. And then you have that thinnest piece of paper. I think that there's another layer on this one. Let's see if I'm right. Ah ha ha, there we go. Ooh. Things might rip and tear. It doesn't have to be perfect, so don't worry. Okay. Alright, so we kind of have the idea, and like, it's going to wrinkle a little bit. This is not going to be like a smooth, perfect application. Like, it's going to have a little bit of texture to it. See, like in this one, it has texture. You can see that if you kind of see, and if it's not smooth, but it gives a lovely texture. I just love it. Okay. All right, so I'll set my pieces aside here. And we'll start, I don't know, we'll start with the big one. It's fine, whatever, who cares? Okay, so what I have here is acrylic matte medium, and what it is essentially is it's an additive for, for acrylic paint. So it'll tell you right here, mix with acrylic paint to extend paint, so make the paint wet longer, and impart a matte finish. It dries clear, and then you can experiment with tempera or watercolor for the same effect. We're going to use it as glue today. So it's going to glue our pages down. But why I use it for glue and why I like it for glue is because it does leave, it works well with acrylics, which I paint quite a bit with acrylics in my art journal. And then it dries clear and it's matte. This has another finish on it, so this is not matte. But it'll be matte when it dries, and that helps if I'm trying to draw something over it or I'm using some other kind of medium. So it's just a really nice glue to use. It plays nice with everything else as well. Now, I'm very technical about the way that I apply my matte medium. I want to be very precise and very careful. Just kidding. Okay, so glop some on there. No big deal. And I take an old credit card, you know, one in your wallet that expired 2 years ago and you didn't realize it. So an old credit card, an old, I don't know, an old card. Smear that glue on it there. Try to get every spot. If you got too much glue, take it over to the other side because we're going to need it over there too. Don't be too stingy with it. You want glue down. You want it to be wet. Okay? Want some glue on there. Alright. Alright. Okay. We'll look a little bit fast since I ended up putting both. Okay. So then we take it and we put it on there. And then we take our credit card and kind of smush it down into the seam. Kind of smush it down where we want it. It's not going to be perfect. We didn't get it on even, so it's not, one side's hanging off a little bit. That's okay. Okay, we're gonna leave that for a second while we get this down. Okay, so I'll get this into that seam. Lay it down. Come on, little butterfly. All right, use our handy dandy credit card. You could use like a palette knife or something more fancy, but if you have an old credit card or store card or something laying around, they are so handy. All right. Okay, I want a little more glue over here. Open up. Okay, there we go. And I take this all over the top of my piece too, so if you have extra glue, just run it across the top of it. Okay, and then we'll take this piece that we wanted down here and lay it down. See, I can't even see that tear now, so no big deal. Okay, and if I tear it when I'm applying glue, which happens sometimes, I also, don't worry about it. You're gonna put other stuff over the top of it and paint on it, and that it's okay if you rip it a little bit. Nobody's gonna know. All right, then we just put a few more drops of this because I want it all over the top as well. Just helps seal it in and gives the whole page the same finish. If you have a really bumpy spot, or look, see I got a rip right there, no big deal. Take my finger and just kind of, no big deal. Off the edge there. Okay, so that side's looking pretty good. Let's put some more on this side. If you have a spot that's not like sticking to the page, rub a little extra over the top of it. It'll soak through that really thin layer of napkin. I mean, that layer of napkin is so thin that it's going to soak through and stick to the page underneath it. So if you have any spots like that that just aren't laying very well, just use your finger for a little more precise application and do it that way. Okay, so now an important thing that you need to remember is this has to dry before you shut your book. I mean, this is glue, and if you shut your book before it is dry, you'll glue your pages together. So I don't speak from experience. I mean, it's never happened to me. I mean, if it happens. I'm such a patient person. Okay, so I'm gonna take my water brush and just rub across the edge there to take off any extra napkin. Get that off. Just clean it up a little bit. Okay. Oh, my son's teacher just messaged me. It's interesting, she doesn't usually message this late. Okay. I'm just pulling off that extra napkin around the edge. But see how easy it just comes off? So it's no big deal. Even if you were to like glue a whole napkin down and it's hanging over, like it's easy to clean up. So know that. Okay, so now we just let it dry And we're not going to paint on it today, but this is just to show you how I use a napkin. Now, if this is like too much of a background for you, what you can do is after this dries, you can take white gesso and put a thin layer of white gesso on it, and that will push it back into the background a little bit so it's not so prominent. I do that in my other art journal. I've learned that I kind of like having a busy background. Like this is a napkin and it's a busy background. It's a napkin, busy background, busy background. But let's see, like these are tape and then I've put some gesso over it so that it's not so much background, or this has gesso over it. So that is an option if the napkin is just too much color for your background, but you like the color and you just want a little bit, you can use gesso to kick it back. So what I usually do, or what I'm doing right now, because things change in your art journal, you're doing one technique for a while and you really like it, and then you try something new and and then your next 10 pages have something different. And I mean, that's what an art journal is. Place to practice and play and try different things. But right now, what I'm doing is I'm keeping my bold background, and then when this is completely dry, I will draw whatever person or thing that I want as my focal point. And once I've drawn it, then I will gesso in the object and leave the background alone because I really like the vivid background. So that's what I'm doing right now. In a month, I may be hating vivid backgrounds and need to kick it back, but that's it for today. I hope you guys found this helpful and maybe understand why I love napkins so much and how easy they are to just do a quick background in your art journal. So they are also a lot of fun and encaustic. So if you want to see that, come back on Monday and you will see me use a napkin and an encaustic. And now my battery is blinking because this is the second video I have filmed today. So I'm gonna say goodbye. I hope you guys have an awesome day, week, weekend, that you find time to relax, take a deep breath, and just let everything go and have some fun doing something artful or creative or whatever makes you happy. And I will see you guys next time. Bye!